Before I get to Marina Purkiss in conflict with Jacob Rees Mogg, I want to show you this clip of Lee Anderson talking about woke culture. In effect, he undermines his whole argument that we are living under a tyranny of wokist ideology.
Well, I think it's a load of nonsense, Peter. I mean, you stop 100 people in the street in Ashfield or outside here, ask them what white resentment is, they won't know. And quite frankly, if you told them, they wouldn't be bothered.
So really, what he's saying there is that most people don't care about these issues. Now here's Marina Purkiss on Jacob Rees Mogg's show, pointing out the truth that the culture wars are a charade, masking the Tories' complete lack of any policy that will help people through the cost of living crisis.
But I'm now joined by the political commentator, Marina Purkiss, who, as I understand it, Marina, you don't think the culture wars really exist? You think they're essentially a right-wing...
Oh, no, I think they exist because people like you and your party in government, they desperately need them to exist because what else are you going to win the next election on?
So they're not coming from people who want to pull roads down or want to edit Roald Dahl. Isn't there a battle of ideas that is going on that sometimes get expressed in extreme form?
So what I think's happened is it's a distraction technique. So don't get me wrong, I think any calls to rewrite Roald Dahl, for example, or to rename a street. By the way, the street renaming, if we go into that, it was called Black Boy Lane. You know, that was why they renamed the street. I think that's fair enough. If you had a street named, you know, White Trash, you might want to rename it. But I think what's happening here is you're drawing attention to these things that actually don't impact people's lives. And the reason you're doing that is because otherwise people might just focus on the real grievances in their life, which are basically caused by your government.
But doesn't no platforming actually affect people's lives? Because freedom of speech is absolutely essential for the political discussion that we're going to have.
Jacob, but do you know what really impacts people's lives? And I really would just ask your viewers, you probably dislike me if you know who I am, but just ask your viewers to think about what really impacts their life. Is it Roald Dahl being rewritten, which, by the way, I don't think it should be? Is it the renaming of a street? Is it, I don't know, some woke policy? Is that really what's harming people? Or is it the concern that they are going to be waiting for an ambulance and dying? Is it the concern that their children are getting a poor education? Is it the concern that we've got the highest energy bills on the planet?
But isn't this why you should stand up for freedom of speech? Because if you attack freedom of speech in some areas, you're then putting the government in control of the agenda. You're deciding politicians should...
Mr. Freedom of Speech here, did you or did you not vote to stop people protesting if it was annoying?
Well, there are limits on protest, but
so
public
free speech,
protest
so long as I'm OK with it.
No, public protest is a very important part of freedom of speech, and the laws that have been introduced are to get the balance right between people going about their daily lives. That's perfectly reasonable.
You tell me how freedom of speech is going to make people's lives better in this country after it's been decimated by things like your Brexit.
Because it's really important, because it allows you to come on this programme and make your case.
Sorry, me making my case on this programme,
yes,
which I will never come back on, is just so that people understand that this is not going to help them. Freedom of speech is not going to help you pay your bills. It's not going to put food on the table. It's not going to feed your kids.
But it allows you to make the argument that you're making.
Doesn't matter.
That's so fundamentally important.
All I'm here to do is to draw attention to the fact that what you do
but that is freedom of speech. So it's really important to defend freedom of speech and protect it.
Your freedom of speech, all you do is you use your platform. And I can't believe you do this. Like, you were born into a life of privilege, Jacob, and you decided to be a con man, to lie to people who trust
I use my platform so that people like you have freedom of speech too, because I think it's really important
I don't need you to defend my freedom of speech.
Make your
I
case.
need you to be in a position of
government. But the left don't like this, do they?
That's
why people are trying to stop
I didn't even realise I was on the left.
I just
realised it was a decent person, not some massive lefty. I just realised what you lot are doing in government is disgusting. And you lie, and you've got no contrition for what you've done to people.
Click here for Mogg being a right twat.